You choose to come to South Carolina. Just talk about the recruiting process like for you. Obviously, Ray Tanner was there, the legendary head coach. He had that thing rolling. The Gamecocks seemed to have that connection from Virginia to South Carolina with JBJ was already there and some others that have come in way after you as well. But just talk about the recruiting process. I'm sure it started very early and why you chose South Carolina.
Yeah, so from a pretty small town in Virginia, and kind of had to go the travel ball route to get seen because of single A Virginia baseball. Not a lot of scouts coming to those games,
Right.
but so got with the Canes organization pretty early on in their I guess existence of going to showcase tournaments and stuff like that. And the main reason for that was to pitch in front of college coaches. And South Carolina saw me at a couple different places, and then had Tommy John in high school, and they were good enough to kind of keep in touch and keep updated with my recovery and all that, and came and saw me throw after I got back on the mound, and still had a spot for me, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity to go south and play in the SEC. And for such a big time program like South Carolina, it wasn't a very hard decision.
Now, that freshman year, Tyler, I want to jump into that because, again, you had 17 appearances and you started 7 games. When you came in, and obviously we know now you're making a pretty damn good living, a guy being not a lefty specialist, but coming out of the bullpen for the Cardinals right now. Were you planning on being a starter? I mean, did you want to be a starter? Did you want to be a bullpen guy? Did you really care? I mean, did you have a preference? What was that kind of that process like once you got on campus?
Yeah, I think everyone that grows up pitching wants to be a starter and wants to, if you're a good big league starter, that's a pretty good living. So I think that's
Right.
kind of everyone's dream going into it. And obviously, I wanted to start in college, and had some good falls and put myself in a position to start on the weekend as a freshman, and had some okay outings, had some not very good ones, and it just kind of didn't work out. I couldn't really tell you why. I just kind of luckily fell into the bullpen role, and
Hmm.
after a couple different tries at the rotation, just I think the coaching staff and later myself realized that maybe this is what's best for me and for the team. And yeah, kind of everything got a lot better once I kind of got into that role, got into the bullpen. uh, I don't know, I just pitched better out of the bullpen. I can't I can't explain it.
For sure. I want to move into Tyler, head coach Ray Tanner. Obviously, you had the opportunity to play for a legendary head coach, Hall of Famer, obviously 2-time national champion, what you helped him accomplish, but what he did over the course of his career at South Carolina, of course, still there as the athletic director. Just talk
Mhm.
about your relationship with him, what that was like playing for him. Because, again, I've had a ton of guys on, a ton of his former players that talk about just how tough he was, but he was able to get the most out of his players and I think really relate to each guy on an individual basis and sort of tap in and get the most out of them. Just talk about, what that was like, your experience playing for Ray Tanner.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the resume speaks for itself in regards to Coach Tanner, and I think his reputation was that he was a hard coach, and he expected a lot. But I think he was, looking back on it, he was very good at realizing who needed the tough love, who needed a pat on the back, when to pressure, push what buttons and this and that. There's all kinds of stories about him telling people that he's going to throw a slider and then you're going to hit a homer, or all those type things. But I think he was really good at realizing what each individual player needed and that tough love. And looking back on it, I feel very fortunate to play for him. And there was a lot of lessons I learned early on in my college career that I still use to this day.